Hello and welcome to Primetime Pastimes, the podcast where we talk to people in the wrestling space about their passions outside of wrestling. I'm one of your hosts, Ste, along with the other host, Gav. Say hello, Gav.
Hello.
Our guest today is a real bastard. He may be a gamer, and you might well rage quit because it is your better, Mr. PL Dotson.
Good
How are
evening,
you, sir?
fellows. Well, thank you. Thank you for
Before we
having me
go
on.
further, does he need his actual intro doing by someone who's around?
No, he doesn't.
Is that if only there was someone here who can do it?
I don't know if there is or not, but
Thank you, disembodied voice of Lauren. Much appreciated. Uh, okay, so obviously you are a professional wrestler. What we like to do in the first 10 minutes of this show is we like to ask you a little bit about professional wrestling and then move on. So we'll start with that. So, what was your first experiences with professional wrestling? Tell me a little bit about it.
So I'd say this quite a lot, and I've said this previously, but I still enjoy telling the stories. I'm old enough to remember World of Sport on ITV, and that was my first. And I remember being in my grand's house, always like on a Saturday afternoon. We might have been out to town and been to the pie shop or something like that, being a proud Wiganer. And then, yeah,
Richard for
sitting down,
Warrington.
just work in Warrington, not live there. But yeah, it was on, and it was one of those where I was very aware of it, but not too much kind of stayed with me with it. It was almost like that thing in between the football, if you like. And then moving forward, obviously, like a lot of people did, got Sky when it came, and you get a bit of wrestling, and you get a bit of wrestling, you get a bit of the German channels with that carried WCW, which absolutely like engrossed me. Two things, obviously, I loved it, and it was something different and different than what some of the things that my friends were watching. And then I was also like engrossed by the German language as well, like how that was being called on comms. So yeah, WCW originally after World of Sport, and then yeah, some WWF. I think I'd probably say like hardest coded memory would be SummerSlam '92, and maybe a couple of bits before that, as you got like VHSs and what have you. But yeah, that was SummerSlam '92 was probably my first WWF WWE bit.
That was a lot of people's starting point because I think Sky Sports had really started the latter end of 1991. So by 1992, no pun intended, but WrestleMania was sort of ingrained in everybody.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned the German stuff. I used to watch quite a bit of the German stuff on Eurosport as well. Any particular memories from any of the German wrestlers or people that wrestled in Germany at the time?
I think I would be remiss to not mention like my first proper viewing of people like Steven Regal as he was then. Some obviously very very early. That's Wunderkind, Alex Wright.
Alex Wright, yes.
Which again, like the British of British heritage, both of them. Obviously, Alex Wright's father, Steve Wright. And yet, just I would probably say like obviously the big personalities, people like Sting, Vader, still being quite young then, even in '92, high school age then, and being just like incredulous that Vader had come in and beat Sting, and he was that like he's kind of like the Ultimate Warrior, but he's better than the Ultimate Warrior, and bits and around the Sting stuff, and you could go in and talk to your friends at school about it, and they'd be like, oh, I like WWF, and like, well, no, I'm watching this, and it's great, and I think yeah, when I look back now, I watch some obviously with the great thing of like YouTube and being able to just type in Steven Regal or type in WCW like '90s. It's that nice, like, oh yeah, I actually watched this. I remember watching it the first time round. So yeah, I think I'd probably draw a lot of my original stuff from there.
I don't think I ever watched the Eurosport stuff though.
I did.
I don't know why.
Class. It was so good,
Was.
and it wasn't.
You were
This is
in
it.
Germany.
I know I was in Germany at the time, so I
But
don't
it was
know.
on.
Weird.
It was on. I think it was called DSF, the channel,
Yeah,
um,
possibly.
where it was carried, and like Saturday night, you'd get a bit of it, or late, so like maybe 10 o'clock, you'd get the first hour of maybe like Nitro, or obviously as it
Right,
was
okay.
like WCW Saturday night, and then a couple of hours later you'd get the other bit, or you'd get some more of it. So it was always, I always thought it was really worth waiting up for. Like,
I've seen a lot of your character sort of influenced by the Lord Stephen Regal iteration of William Regal. What else in the world of wrestling has sort of influenced your character specifically?
um, so I'd probably say it's quite narrow from within wrestling, because I tell a lot of trainees now and people who I train alongside, like most things have been done. So you naturally, people are going to do a lot of comparison stuff. Within wrestling, like I love Spike Trivet. I think he's like a masterful villain, storyteller, to the point where you're like, you could actually believe that that guy, what he says is what he's going to do. And I think that's what holds true with people now, is how close that is to the actual person. There'll be other little bits, other like kind of technical stuff. Probably not very much from like current stuff now, but you can obviously go back to like WC or other WCW stuff, and you look at like some Malenko stuff, and you look at. I was watching Stunning Steve Austin earlier, the original iteration of him as I knew him, and little bits of stuff like that, where you can just pick little things up from there.
Mm.
So as I say, quite narrow. I like Jeff Jarrett stuff as well. I love that like
I
Memphis style. I know some
love
people
Jeff
are
Jarrett.
kind of a little bit against the Memphis style, but I really like that. And yeah, there are other people in similar ilk outside of wrestling. I can talk to you far more stuff about like the character stuff that I do is it's films, it's TV shows, it's theatre, it's music. The Boys obviously has just come back on Amazon Prime. Like there's a lot of what I do is Homelander. Like I fully believe that I'm the hero in my story within wrestling, and I think that's the best thing of being a good villain, is you actually believe you're right, like what you're doing is the right thing, just because it's not for everybody else. I love like the Marvel stuff, so like Thanos, Ebony Maw. So there's a lot like that. The Herald stuff, which I almost herald, obviously do myself when Lauren's not there. Miss Trunchbull from like Matilda. I love like the one of the guys who played George Washington in Hamilton. There's so much that I can kind of draw from. More so, I watched Sinners the other night on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I think I have.
It's
It's
so
amazing.
little bits of stuff like that where you can just pick things out of there of like the how people used to speak, and I do like, particularly for like my character is I won't lower myself to the masses. I will speak, and there's a lot of it that's kind of crept into my normal like verbiage. But why would I lower myself? Read a dictionary, learn some different words to kind of like keep up with me. And it's more of that like helps to be a villain when you're trying to keep yourself above everybody else.
Okay,
Definitely
so
works.
I'm interested. Who in Sinners have you sort of emulated?
It was, I wouldn't say, but I haven't done it yet. I just wrote, I literally paused it the other night and wrote down
Taking
for a
notes.
promo at some point. Um, I would I would be remiss. Let's talk. Well, I've just said the word promo. I'd be remiss to miss out arguably the best promo in all of wrestling at the moment of MJF. Like that lad is ridiculous in how he carries himself, how he's so close to who he is as a performer versus who he is as a person, and doesn't let that mask slip. That was one of the things I toyed around with at first: is enter a venue, be a particular way, be PL Dotson, continue to be like that all the time, and then leave and be the real person. I did struggle a little bit with that, and I still do, because I'm a kind-hearted fellow at heart.
Oh, I still get vibes when you enter a room that it's PL, it's not Paul. So I'm
Thank
very
you.
sort of, with the hand behind the back, you always approach with the handshake, and it's all there.
Yeah. Thank you. There is that like little bit of whatever you can keep, I suppose, is good. Don't throw away, and we do a lot of work with it, and you're making people feel particular ways. And I'm happy to do what I do. I'm happy with my contributions to shows that I've been on, to promotions that I've worked with. Like, I know who I am. I know what I'm there to do. And I think that's like,
Be a dastard.
I'm a dastard. I'm an absolute dastard.
So, what has made you go down the route of I want to be the villain in this story that is wrestling?
I don't know. I think real life Paul, as he was previously, was a teacher, and a dad and a family man, and tries to do all of those kind of good things. Like, it's such a good release. It's a release to be able to say the things that you want to say without fear of reprisal, or not even fear of reprisal. Like, you know what the reprisal is going to look like as the villain. Yeah, I used to love pantomime stuff when I was a kid as
Oh,
well.
no, you didn't.
Nearly. But yeah, and it's fun. It's more fun to be a villain. It is. I've got now. I've started picking up old WCW Regal. Right, he used to give it this, didn't he? He'd give this to the crowd, like not a muscled gentleman. I'm sure he'd be able to say, and then give it like the finger behind the muscle. My daughter has started doing that at netball now when she scores. Like, it's little things like that that make me laugh and make me think, you know what, like, this is hilarious. Like, I'd really struggle being a face, being a blue eye.
I
And
couldn't see it. No, I couldn't see it. I don't think it'd
I'm
be a
sure,
massive like shock if you ever were to turn. It really would.
I'm
We
sure
say
there's,
this,
yeah,
but William Regal and Tajiri were fantastic together. Now,
yes,
I've always been a person that is leaned very much to the blue blood Lord Stephen Regal more
yeah,
than I have William Regal, and
yeah.
they are quite different. Well, I think that character, that evolved character in WWF, did work very well with Tajiri. So maybe you just need a Tajiri.
Maybe I do. Maybe that, like, someone, and I do still think, I mean, as I say, I talked about like MJF earlier, and I think there's a lot of Regals promos. I think the Eugene promo of Regals
Yeah.
still stands up as one of the most like impassioned speeches, bits of work that he did, obviously with Triple H. Like, I love that, and that is a very like that's probably where I'd probably take some of that evolved stuff. Surprisingly, um, I'd maybe go a similar way to Tony Storm. Like, I don't know how
I
you
can
would
see
do
that.
that as a male character. What has she done? She's the best female. At one point, I actually thought she was the best wrestler in the world at one point, just because of the not just the moves that she was doing, but how she did everything. It's the spaces in the spaces, isn't it? That she does, and I do honestly. At one point, I did think there's nobody could put a glove on her.
I think she's gone very old school Hollywood. I think you'd be very good as no sort of intention to compare you to the tag team, but I think you could go very vaudevillian and you could go that direction. I think that would suit your dynamic.
Yeah,
Again, I'm not talking about the actual tag team of the vaudevillains, but I think that is something that would suit you. One thing, talking about the Stephen Regal of it all, William Regal of it all, I always thought he was very much like Harley Race in a lot of ways, and he was okay being a hero. The more things went on, and Lauren has just shown me her hand as if let's move on. So let's
Thank
move
God.
on.
As you move on,
We
I'm
stopped
usually
the
dead good at
10
timing
minute
this.
alarm, but my goodness, this is going on more than 10 minutes.
Lauren, there's a
Right.
lot to talk about. I'm a many layered character.
We shall move on, Lauren, because we want to make you happy. And I have no concept of time today because I'm a little bit ill. Right. That's enough about the wrestling. We are here, of course, to talk about the beautiful game, or should I say, beautiful video game, the Football Manager series. But first, here's a few facts that will please Lauren, I've no doubt. Whilst there was another stats-based game in the 1980s, also called Football Manager, this series started as Championship Manager in 1992, famously written in the bedroom of their Shropshire home by the brothers Paul and Oliver Collier. This version of the game featured generic names in place of real players. After the split from IDOS, the series continued on as Football Manager and became one of the largest games in football games in video game history. That's easy for me to say. The in-game database is actually the largest football database in the world, with many clubs, famously Everton, using the database to scout real-world players. On multiple occasions, the database has been used to inform national teams of players in other countries who may be eligible for those national teams. Examples are Phil and James Younghusband and Ben Brereton receiving call-ups from the Philippines and Chile, respectively. Players aren't the only ones to benefit from the game. I'm not going to pronounce this gentleman's name, but actually I'm going to try. Vugar Huzenzaid from Azerbaijan was so good at the game, FC Baku hired them to run their reserve team, which sounds very much like the plot to The Last Starfighter. Shout out to The Last Starfighter. The Guinness World Record is 221 in-game years for the game to be played, and some of the editions of the games have featured special guests Josh Widdicombe, Kevin Bridges, Hunton Deck, as well as the fictional team of Harchester United from the absolutely awful TV series Dream Team. So there's our facts. I hope you enjoyed that.
Stat your head off,
First of all,
Steve.
well, I love a stat, mate.
Absolutely, statting your head off.
So, just a little tidbit. People might not know this about me. I am not a football guy. I don't know almost anything about what I just said. But if it's entertaining to you, then great. If you learn something, then even better. But yeah, it might be just as good watching me struggle in this episode than watching PL Dotson share his love.
I've always said I used to like football when I was younger, and obviously when I became a doorman, everyone asked, "Oh, who do you support?" I went, "I don't anymore. I've grown up." That was always my reply.
Wow. This is going to be a really fun episode then, isn't it, Gav?
Yeah.
So mine's not even real football. Mine is what is essentially a mobile database, a spreadsheet, if you like. But
hey,
I love it.
It's still real to you.
I played the original Football Manager on Commodore 64. Oh, hours to wait for loading in between matches because you couldn't skip them. You had to watch the match. And obviously But I played it.
I think it sounds delightful. When did you first start playing PL?
I started, so around probably about the same time as my love of wrestling. Okay. So we're probably talking early 90s, 91, 92. But when computer fairs were still massive. And my dad used to take me to computer fairs with him and bits and bobs. And you could buy discs, couldn't you? You could buy just kids, any young people watching this, anyone younger than, I don't know, let's say 30 watching this. Sometimes you might see
say 30.
It's not a coaster. It's actually a place of data storage. And you also used to be able to get them on the Ucky, I think it was, off the front of magazines.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys just had like racks and racks and racks of them. And I remember picking up Championship Manager and taking it home. And like Gav, I think it was a PC one we had. And like Gav, put it in, and yeah, if we're talking 1992, that's essentially 30 years of my life that I've been playing. I'm 42 now. So yeah, 32 and more. and more. In fact, 30 years of my life that I have played on and off. I've not played every single year. Um, when when I am playing, it does quite take over me a little bit, but it's like wrestling. It's a bit of an escape. So yeah, I remember it very fondly, and I still do think back to that. Um, the chance meeting, if you like, at a computer fair with a floppy disk of Championship Manager.
So yeah, a lot of people when you talk to them about this, they say it's very very immersive. Because whilst I am not a player, in fact, I might have the aesthetic of a gamer, I'm not really a gamer at all. But I do have a lot of friends that are into this, and yeah, that they'll tell me about spending hours and hours and hours. What do you think makes it such an immersive experience for you?
I particularly like like weirdly very similar to Gav in that people ask me sometimes who do you support. Now I've always been a Wigan Athletic fan, so I'd preface that by saying, well, you could argue I don't really like football. I like being disappointed because as a Wigan Ath fan, we've had some highs, but we've had a lot of lows, and particularly around that time playing as Wigan Athletic on a CD, sorry, a disc, and then a CD of a Football Manager. It wasn't probably as exciting as other people, but I like that. I liked the thing of being part and building
That's
something.
the thing in it as well. When you pick a lower team, it's that high of bringing them all the way up to Division One and winning it. So that's where I enjoyed it, because you're starting from nothing, and then you can buy the players that are better as you get better. And yeah, I think that's what gets most people into it. It got me into it a bit, at least.
You can see there's so many there's so many parallels with how people play it. There's obviously a lot of people make a lot of money on YouTube and similar streaming, obviously with the advent of things like Patreon, people like streaming gaming and stuff like that. I know there's other things are available, but yeah, people making a living out of it, out with people like me writing in going, oh, will you do a Save Wigan Athletic? Yeah, we will. And they do like 5 or 10 seasons with them. So you've got people who do that. You've got people who do these like Park to Premier League versions of it where they're taking over a team down the road. So obviously down the road from me is Pilkington Rex in St Helens. Or I could do like a Wigan team if it's one of the lower end Wigan teams, or obviously I work in Warrington, so you could do like Warrington Town or Rylands and build them all the way up to the top. There's not a lot of people who I speak to. I speak to like John Kane. John Kane's a big Football Manager fan as well. John, like me, goes with like his own team, so he's obviously a blue. John, like me though, plays predominantly on his phone or on a tablet, and that's another one where you're almost getting these like divides between console and mobile gamers and what have you. But there's something for everybody, and then your little bit of
Is it
stuff
cross-platform? Is it cross-platform? Just to butt in for a second. No, because that was what I was going to say. And how does that sort of alter the gaming experience then if you're just playing on your phone predominantly?
I tried to play a little bit on my phone, and I got really really frustrated with it because I do like be able to sit and search properly and rather than typing on my phone screen. Now, at one point, I did get one of these phones. You know, they go like this. That was great because that was very good for it. That took a little bit of time to wean myself off playing Footy Manager on there because it was a great big screen. I'm saying it's not cross-platform. I'm not sure. I don't think it is. But yeah, there's almost that like schism between different types of players. And obviously you can play on console as well now. You can play on the PS or Xbox
Well,
as well.
I had the Champions League one for PlayStation 1. And I used to play that one, but I used to work nights and I couldn't sleep in the mornings when I got home. So I'd have a couple of drinks, maybe too many, and I'd just sit on that game and then I'd fall asleep while it was on. So it'd just be but it tire me out because I'm thinking and looking at the screen and thinking about like trading players and it was all the real players' names, but you could change it as well to your own names.
Okay.
So yeah, I had some like just stupid name characters roaming around.
It is good. Like it's like Gav just said there. It's something for everyone, isn't it? There's however you want to play it. and it's only got more and more kind of immersive. It's only got more and more in depth. Although this year's game has been met with, it's not gone down well on Steam.
No.
All right.
Yes,
So
I have seen that. It hasn't gone down well.
do you now train your players and like give them like training regimes and diet? Do you do diets?
Not
and all
diet,
that kind of
no.
stuff?
So that one of the other little
Right.
things that I like doing is I like doing the whole, if a player's got certain stats and you're missing that player, rather than going buying someone, you can then train them in that position.
Yeah.
Little things around that which are quite fun. Knowing that it's that your own touch on that. Other people might not do that versus how you play it. You don't have to go and spend, obviously, in-game millions and millions of pounds when you can actually do that yourself compared to what other people might never do. So yeah, that makes it
Turn
like
Peter Schmeichel into a striker.
that would have been good. He
would have
absolutely had the aggression for it.
He actually did score a few times, to be fair, when I used to watch it. So
What a guy.
yeah, he was good.
I'm curious if you've ever done any of the challenges, like the A to Z challenge and things like that.
So, disembodied voice of Lauren. I do a little bit of one, and it's not a formal one. I've give it a little bit of a go of the Pentagon. There's one called the Pentagon Challenge where you're playing in a lot of the more kind of smaller nations. I'll give that a go, but I fell away with that a little bit. What I like to do, if I've had enough of my Wigan Athletic one, is the first ever football match I went to see was actually Crewe Alexandra. So I like to do a Crewe Alexandra save now and again because that, like Gav said, is lower. You kind of immersing yourself with some of those players. The invent of social media is obviously really, really good now because then you can have a look at what real life players are doing versus your ones.
This was one of my questions.
My one is I like to manage a team from places that I've been to. So we were in Bruges just before Christmas. So I'm currently doing a Club Bruges save. We went to Lanzarote a little while ago. Now Lanzarote weren't on it, but Las Palmas were. So I did a Las Palmas save. Great fun fact that they're closer to Africa than they are Spain, but they still play in the Spanish league. So that's good fun. Little tiny tidbits like that.
Fact.
Like the up to Scotland, so we've been to Glasgow and Edinburgh, so going doing those. We was in Florida a couple of years ago, so we did like an Orlando City save. Like that's mental trying to be a manager in the USA. So yeah, just that's my own kind of one I've made for myself.
So one question off the back of that then. So obviously you've been to these places, then you've chosen to sort of go down the route of going in the rabbit hole of using their teams. Has it ever gone the other way? Have you ever seen a player that's really impressed you and then you've thought, oh, I'll go and check him out in real life and watch a real game featuring that player?
Do you know what? See, like my watching of football outside of it being on the Premier on TV. I've got a bit of cognitive dissonance with this in that I love football, predominantly don't dislike footballers. So I feel I can hold those two things in my head, and Football Manager kind of lives here outside of it. Don't get me wrong, if I've seen someone and I think, oh, I'll just see what they're like on Football Manager, or I love the old is it Leonardo DiCaprio meme of him kind of doing this like pointing off the couch thing? Yeah. I've done a few of them when I see like a scorer come through, or maybe if I've got like the scores coming through or whatever, but like, oh, I've signed him. He's played for me for Crewe, or I've got him at Club Bruges, and little bits of stuff like that I quite like. But yeah, my watching of football is minimal now. Like I have like the Wigan Ath stuff on my phone and what have you, and I'll watch the highlights. I did at one point have a season ticket both for the rugby and the football. I don't now. I only have one for the rugby. I still go with my stepdad now and again. But yeah, wrestling has now taken that spot, if you like afternoon shows or early evening shows. So yeah, Football Manager is almost my raison d'etre of football now. It's my reason for watching it.
I think actually that's reminded me because that was when I played the Champions League one. At the time, it was Zinedine Zidane and everyone, all the big. I used to headhunt them, so you'd have to bid to get their wages off them to come to you. So I would you'd find the big names pop up for, oh, well, if you can get me over, then yeah. So yeah, I used to buy all the big names if I could and be like, yes.
Class.
But it is sad, really, isn't it? But it's...
No, it's not. It's not sad, Gav. There's people, like I said earlier, there's people who make a lot of money off it.
Yeah.
Within the first, I think it was, not sure if I was 2 years into being a PE teacher, when I still had quite a lot of time and I didn't have a family. And I actually applied to be not a scout, but to do some like analyst stuff for Wigan Athletic, which was really fun, like doing that for I did a couple of months of it and did a little bit of kind of like scouting and watching some of the reserves and what have you. That was quite fun, like putting my little bit into the game for other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not sad. It's class. It's good fun. There's worse things that people do.
Oh, definitely.
There sure is. So obviously we talked about how involved you are in this, and one of my questions was going to be: you do it at sort of a surface level, or did you go through all the training camps and everything also involved in that? And I think you sort of explained that. But do you operate as one team all the time, one play session rather, or do you operate multiple teams at the same time? Or is it just like, oh, I'm one and done? I'm using Wigan this year and that's it.
No, I'll sometimes the people who have got a lot more time and a lot more money and really, really heavy kind of gaming laptops will probably load lots and lots of leagues and kind of bounce around that. I've got like an all right laptop for it. So what I generally do is if I'm doing like a Wigan save, I just keep my eye on like Crew Alex. And if they're struggling, I'll jump in with them as well and build them up. I also like doing, let's say you're doing a Wigan Ath save, or you're doing like my Club Bruges one at the moment, keeping my eye on Wigan Ath just in case they start going the other way, so I can bring them up and almost use them as like a little. That's the one thing I feel like they could do a little bit better in that. Although it is the scourge of football at the moment, these kind of multi-club platforms, if you like, obviously like the Blue Group with Chelsea and other bits. That's actually quite fun to be able to like part players and you be in charge of them as well, like them playing and the playing time and what I've been seeing them develop without you having to play them. That little bit's quite fun.
Can you pick a bigger team and a little team and then nick all the players for free if you wanted to?
They tightened a lot of that up, to be fair, because they did a workaround where you could put like a certain bid in, offer it and then cancel it, and it'd still go through, and you'd still get the player. As with everything, it's technology, isn't it? There's going to be little bits of bugs and what have you, but yeah, there was a quite a fair. I think it was on 2024. So my current favorite iteration of the game, FM24, by far better than 26. So I've gone back to playing 24. But yeah, there was like a little workaround where you could get players around like that.
Explain to me why it's your favourite then. What makes it so much better than the previous editions and 26? I know 26 has been sort of universally panned though, hasn't it? Really?
It has, and there's bits of it where I think I need to give it another go. I quite like the tile interface. There's a lot of people like pulling the face around that, saying, "Oh, it's so different." Like it's gonna be. Everyone lost their mind when it stopped being Championship Manager and started being Football Manager. People have been crying for ages about there being a better in-game engine and there being better graphics and what have you. Now they've got them, but they don't want it. Then they don't want it. They want it. I want it the way I had it.
Like it's always been.
Exactly, but you can't have it as it's always going to be because things are going to carry on moving. The invent of and the high usage of things like AI within the game as well is like it's interesting. It's going to be, even if it continues, which it's going to, like one bad game. There's been other ones that people panned FM 17 and 18 like, oh, this is rubbish. Obviously we've carried on. There's different iterations of the game after that. Why do I like 24 over any other version of the game? Don't know. I feel like it's the one that I did the most kind of not modding myself, but I put a lot of face packs in there so you know all the players. Changed a lot of it, made sure all the trophies were the right. There's people, obviously, players previous to 2026. There was players who removed themselves from the game. They're like their namesakes, their licenses. And So I've changed things around that. Don't know. It just feels very like it's the game I've done the most on to enjoy it the most, if that makes sense.
You tailored it for you, so it's
Yeah.
I'm a basketball guy, and it drove me mad when Michael Jordan, when his license went away. So we had a string of about 4 years where all the NBA games didn't have Michael Jordan in it, and it really annoyed me, including NBA Jam, which many people think is the best basketball game ever.
Easily the best. I still play my emulated Mega Drive version constantly. I'll be like,
anyway.
Put it on straight away and off you go.
Enough about NBA, because I'm sure we'll get to that in the future, maybe. Knowing that I'm an NBA fan. But yeah, it annoys me about player licenses, but I do understand it. So talking about customization, can you customize yourself in Football Manager 24? Because I know you can in 26. And do you?
Yes. So there's bits where I don't go as far into it as like putting my own photograph in the game. But the creation of like your little manager avatar is quite good. So I generally probably should have them on now. I should have glasses. I wear glasses when it's anything like this, and particularly I should have them on. In fact, I'm going to put them on.
I'm going to give some little music while we're waiting for PL Dotson.
Some elevated music.
So there's PL Dotson glasses.
Here we go. Now we can see, and he can see us. I wear glasses too. I don't know if you knew that.
I might be joining the club soon.
Now I can see that you wear glasses, Steve, because I've got my glasses on.
Anyway, customization. So with or without glasses, you put some effort into it, but not a whole lot of effort in.
Yeah, the guy, as best I can, looks like this. I think the glasses give it a certain, I don't know, what's the, is it Jurgen Klopp? Yes, Jurgen Klopp, who was the Liverpool manager, had these very similar glasses, and I thought, it's quite good. You can put all them other little bits. There's things in there that you don't need, like putting earrings in and putting like rings on fingers. What I do like is the aids, so you can have like people who've got cochlear implants or people who wear hearing aids themselves. You can do that.
Right.
That's real good. And do you know what? I've just been ragging a bit on 26. Let's not rag on it too much, because it also has women's football in it, which as a dad of a daughter who I wanted to not like the things I like, but have the opportunity to like the things I like. I think like wrestling, you can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
That's why when I bring her to a wrestling show, people ask me all the time, why don't you bring your daughter? It's an all blokes wrestling show. And I wanted to, as much as I like her to come and boo me and get involved that way, I wanted to watch a dad wrestle Harley Hudson, or watch her wrestle Lucy Sky, or those guys go at it, and watch like really, really good female wrestling. So much so that if she decides to say, I want to be a wrestler, I can say, yeah, learn by doing this, as I've done with Mr. Eagle and guys from the world of sport, Johnny Saint, all people like that. Back to Football Manager, yeah. As a dad and as someone who taught sport, I feel like I was there around where football for women started getting really, really serious and better promotion and what have you. It was the next natural step for it to go onto that platform, and yeah, it's something that I haven't done yet on 26, and I had a little go of it, but maybe I should. Maybe that'll rekindle my love of 26.
Well, they don't release every year, but they do release quite frequently, don't they?
Yeah. So there was.
I thought it was every year.
There was
not quite.
There was the big hoo-ha after 24 that FM 25 was going to come out, and it's going to look this particular way and what have you. And then they couldn't launch it. So that's where that gap was. So I believe 26 will have probably a year's life and then go to the next one. Or if people get used to this like bi-yearly release and mod and do those other little bits, then yeah, it could end up being 28, the next one, and then we've got those extra further bits in there.
I think for me, one of the disconnects with this, because I have played the wrestling games, I've played the basketball games on season modes, and I've run years and years and years of a season. And then if the game comes out every year, I find myself having a bit of a disconnect because I've sort of got to start off with people that are lower stats, lower, completely different organizational, and it's a bit frustrating. I can imagine that's even worse with a football fantasy football game like this, because you've got all your teams the way you like them, and then bam, we're back to zero. What sort of frustration is that for you, and is there a way of sort of getting around that?
So herein lies the rub, doesn't it? In that they're releasing newer games, whilst also having people like me who play the previous games, which have been then modded by community creators and what have you. Mm-hmm. So your natural thing is you're looking for. So we've at Wigan, we've just had this like real downturn of form and what have you, but through that have come some little gems. Like we've got a guy called Harrison Bertoni, who on previous iterations of the game has been absolutely naff, like as a reserve player. But because obviously he's now come up and he's playing a lot more first team things, guys in the community stuff have then like modded it and what have you, made him a first team player, improved his stats. So that's good then. So around like the transfer windows or at different times, and you can then get a patch that goes onto your game that you're currently playing. Some it does it in game, others you then have to restart. So I get that frustration bit. But yeah, I suppose you can't have everything, can you? You want to play the game you like. You do have to maybe a couple of little sacrifices, like.
Well, we should have everything, damn it. So microtransactions, for all its faults for Football Manager 26, it doesn't seem to have gone heavy on the microtransaction side as other games have. Am I right in that, or am I completely?
Yeah, do you know what? There's pages and pages of people on Facebook and Reddit and people like that where obviously a lot of these communities lie who go quite heavy on the buy-in so you can unlock things and what have you. But I think Ste, as they are now, Sports Interactive, have been pretty smart with that, in that there are things that you can buy and unlock, but it's not necessary for the game. There's the guys who do their Patreons actually are probably your biggest driver of that, with people like they'll do a 10 seasons with a certain team, or they'll do a rags to riches or what have you, and then they'll say, okay, for cost of a cup of coffee, you can actually get this save game file if you down. So I think there's your microtransactions, your little bit of kind of you spend outside of the game, but it's
community driven.
Some that go, you're supporting a creator, whereas others would go, I'm not paying that, I can do it myself.
Does that sort of help with the social experience of this? Because at face value, this isn't a social game because this is just you and the screen. But I do know there's a big community in Football Manager. So talk a little bit about that.
Massive. I mean, outside of talking to gentlemen and obviously Lauren as well and people like that, like I've found there's quite a lot of wrestlers who like Football Manager, which is good because marrying two of my passions together. Quite a lot of teachers who I used to teach with, like Football Manager, in the sector where I work now, in the charity sector. There's a few, not as many, because it's a slightly younger crowd. There's a lot of younger guys who are probably a bit more like FIFA and Madden and stuff like that. But yeah, I think on the surface, you could actually argue it is. It's a little bit kind of, it's an introverted game. You're taking an extroverted sport and putting it just in front of you within 12 to 18 inches of your eyes and going, okay, have at it. There's loads of different versions. You can play that online like a versus game, or you can play as part of an online community of a league, like almost like a turn-taking thing. But yeah, I think it's not something I've done. I know there's guys who do it and they'll do it for thousands of pounds. Don't think Mrs. Layton will be very keen on me doing that, which I won't be doing that. So it's a bit longer.
Here's me not trying to say your full name on online, but yeah.
That's okay.
So, I'm trying to think of a way to sort of build this in, but you brought up something there about it being quite an introverted thing, and in many ways, I feel like that's the opposite of FIFA, because with the FIFA games, you have people, and they've tried to incorporate elements of Football Manager. I am aware of that into the FIFA games, but on its face value, FIFA is something that you have the lads round, you play together, you play online. Is there room in your playing style to have FIFA and Football Manager, and are they at odds?
Probably for me, no. I think wrestling and Football Manager are probably just about enough. Like we gamed. I did have an Xbox. I did have a PS. I think it was PS2 or PS3 for a little while when I was at university. So that's quite a long time ago. So I did game like that, social gaming, if you like, for a little while. And we had the what was the thing with the Xbox? Like the which I thought the game was on. What was it called, Gav? Sorry.
Connect.
Yes, we had the Connect, and that's good fun. Had all that. When my daughter came along, and she's like 9 now, so we're banging to the Switch. She loves Mario Kart. That's the social bit. You can play Mario Kart with grown-ups. Everyone loves Mario Kart. Show me a grown-up who doesn't like Mario Kart. Gav?
Even I like Mario Kart.
Oh, I like Mario Kart. Yeah, it's great.
Lauren?
Never played it. Even as a kid, never played it.
She will do. Aaron wants it, so we'll get.
You can play Mario Kart as like a drinking game if you're that way inclined. If you can't drink and drive, so you have to finish your drink before you drive. Like every lap. Little bits of stuff like that's dead fun. So yeah, I've probably not got any room in my life for like the social, getting the lads around playing FIFA. Don't get me wrong, when I was younger, a couple of lads who I went to school with, have you got Footy Manager? Yeah, I'm coming, and we'd play until the morning. Like we'd play through the night of different things, like bits of stuff like that was, I suppose, the social bit of it. But again, it's let's have it right. It's lads sat around a computer screen. Like computers haven't got that much bigger, so it's sat around a computer screen like we're looking at right now.
True. So what's made you more of a Football Manager fan and less of a FIFA fan? Was that a definitive choice, or is it something you just...
I don't know. I think I've always... I don't know. I've always... It was either one or... Not one or the other, because I know there's some people who play both. There's probably some people who play more than both. I don't know. It was, as I said earlier, right at the beginning, like it's a nice memory. I didn't go and pick a controller up or get a CD of FIFA or Pro Evo as it was now. Again, old enough to remember that. And Sensible Soccer. I liked Sensible
Big
Soccer.
war between, was it Pro Evo and FIFA? Because Pro Evo couldn't have any names. So you'd have to change all the names of the players. And FIFA was a worse game, but had all the players, so everyone still played it. But
I was just going to say, Gav, Pro Evo was by far the better game for a long time.
Yeah, for ages.
Yeah, you're right on the names, etc. Yeah, it's a nice harken back to when I was younger, as childhood, and playing it at home. And obviously, I don't live at home now. I've got my own house, got my own life, but it's a nice link to that, to the past. Like very, very similar to the wrestling thing. Like I never got into the wrestling to get signed by WWE. That's not who I got into it quite late. I was 30s when I got into it. It was for other reasons. But the reason I do it now is because I loved it when I was a kid. I absolutely loved it as a kid. And I loved how people made me feel whilst watching it. And I think that's another reason why I still love Football Manager, is I like how it makes me feel when I do it.
Lovely, lovely thought. So you mentioned on several occasions that that you are a teacher, and are there any skills or is there anything that you use in your Football Manager guys that you then pass on to the kids, or do you find that any way to relate to them through that game? Does it have any influence on how you interact with the football side of things, the teaching side of things?
Well, like as I mentioned before, like I was a Wigan season ticket holder for a long time, and outside of teaching in school in Leigh, where you'd get a couple of Wigan fans, that was nice. But yeah, you connect towards the actual game. I stopped short of having like a Football Manager community at school when I was still, and just for clarity, I'm not a teacher anymore. So I did 18 years as a teacher, and I work in the charity sector for Warrington Wolves, which is still get all the amazing like bits of like the school part and interacting with young people without the absolute like spine crushing, soul crushing stress that comes along with it. Like, well done to all teachers who are still in there. But yeah, Steve,
No transferable social skill, no transferable coaching skills, though. Is that what we're saying?
no. But yeah, just like as you said, like the connection with people, like in passing, you'd talk about like it'd be the kids would talk about it, and or they'd say about a certain player, and I'd my kind of line for a little while was good on Football Manager, though, aren't they? And that was that like in because obviously the difference is obviously that's very data driven. So
There you go. I knew there'd be some connective tissue there.
yeah, it is that like as I say the just having that little bit of a chip about things, or they'd say someone would be saying in a change, oh yeah, he's rubbish him, sir, he's crap, and that would just be like good on Footy Manager though.
Are you not
This is the question.
ones? Is there not a rugby manager game or anything?
Gav, like honestly, it is one of the banes of my existence in that how have I got to shoot age? How have I got to 42 and there's still not a very, very good or even passable rugby manager game. I feel like they're properly missing a trick. There've been some pretenders to it. And no, they've just released, not just, but within the last year, they've released another version.
It's because the rugby league versions are so bad.
Oh, fair enough.
Terrible.
Because they're so bad.
Herein lies the rub, right?
So terrible.
Do you know a little? Have I got the hook in the lip, Lauren, on the rugby one? Have you seen the rugby one?
Yeah.
It's absolutely. It's honestly. It's like someone's drawn it with crayons.
Really?
It's terrible, and I don't know how they've got from. I remember playing that. I'm not sure if it was like 2018 or 2019, playing that and being like, "Oh, quite impressed this. I quite like this." And then they're releasing another version of it, very like within the last year, and it's essentially the same game. Like, I don't know how they can get away with charging 50 and 60 pounds for what is essentially just like a reskinning of a game.
I wonder if it's just lack of sort of money behind it, like obviously the football have got.
Like, you know how Football Manager, all the little characters look like exactly like the person?
Yeah.
My cousin, who plays for Workington Town, none of the family could even guess it was him. Right. From the picture of him that's on it, because it's so horrendous. It doesn't look like anyone. It's so pixelated, it looks like it's worse than the Minecraft movie. It's so bad.
Oh, well.
My question was going to be, one of my questions was going to be that there has been so many other attempts at a Football Manager style game for other sports that have not taken off. I mean, we've had baseball in America, we've had rugby, as you've just said. What is it you think about football in Europe specifically that just is a much better fit for this style of game than other platforms and other sort of sports?
I think everyone's main kind of driver with it is probably like the most armchair football fans are frustrated. I could do it better kind of guys. Like I'd do this. I'd sign this player, or I'd concentrate on our youth, or I'd bin our youth off and bin the coaching team off, and I'd bring my own. Football Manager just gets you to go, all right, do that then, do all that, and see how it works, and get a tactic or download a tactic from one of these many hardworking people who do the whole the community stuff and play it your way. I just think that really lends itself, as you say, to that like British, Irish, European community of.
I think obviously football as well. It's because most people know the names. Even if you're not a big football fan, if you're going to go for a managing game,
yeah,
it's the most pick-upable one, because you're going to at least know the person that you're sort of signing. It's a bit of
I can assure you I would not.
No, but even I don't watch it. I don't follow any like I don't look at results or anything, but I still know who Haaland is. I still know, like, I mean, to be fair,
Steve's just thinking Benjamin Haaland.
yeah, probably is actually
Correct.
But like, I couldn't really tell you. I used to support Man United because my dad did when he was a little lad, and obviously I went that way. I don't think I could actually name you a player now. Harry Kane, maybe?
Doesn't play for United.
No. So there you go. That is how
He did say maybe.
But that
He did
is
say
literally in my my late teens, early 20s. I followed football daily. I wouldn't miss anything. And now it's
John Daly. John Daly.
Yeah. But yeah, it's completely crazy that I've dropped it and it's gone. But
Steve, you were saying there about like different kind of manager things, like turn taking stuff. They've done like an F1 manager. Like I'm not sure if it's there's obviously ice hockey. The guys who do who do Sports Interactive do like an ice hockey one.
I can confirm. I did a lot of research on this, and
congratulations.
There's dozens of different sports that do it, but none have had the success of your football simulations. And yeah, it is weird because statistically, American football and baseball are two of the most stats-based sports in the world, but they don't compare anywhere. But they don't do anywhere near the business that Football Manager does.
I think even looking to like America now, there's the amount of actual American streamers who play Football Manager. There's a guy we'll watch now and again who's called Zealand. I think he lives over here anyway, but he's an American. And even that's a driver of, that's one of our countrymen playing it. I'll probably give it a go. Gav had said before, I think it was you said Gav. It was definitely mentioned before about like the actual nature of players not being potentially bigger than the sport now. They're far better. They're known for other things. Yeah. So your natural thing, Steve, this would be a great thing for you to do outside of maybe this podcast. I'd love to play a season with you, even though you don't know any players. I don't think it matters.
What on earth makes you think I've got any time?
I don't. I mean, we're recording a podcast at 9:00 at night. So you tell me.
Yeah. I'll give it a go. I'd give it a go if I get it on a console. I'd give it a go because I'm not very good with PCs.
It's proper fun, and again, like even for the uneducated is the wrong word because I've never classed you as that. But within this game, there's probably lots and lots of people who've done like a pick it up and play it and give it a go. When you can play it as superficial or as deep as you like, and still really enjoy it.
This is the thing that I've learned about myself. I don't know if you know this. I'm quite into stats, and you see me backstage at wrestling shows, and I like organization. So, if you made this like basketball, like I said, I'd probably be well into it. So I don't think I think I would give it a go at some point if I had the time for it, because it opening my eyes on everything that I've looked at in the days of research that I've been looking at this, because I didn't want to come in half cocked and be completely embarrassed. It was quite eye opening. No, it was quite intriguing. I'll say at the very, very least. So yeah, I would perhaps give it a go. I also contacted Troy Ryan early on and said, I don't know anything about football, and any way you can sort of lead me. And he gave me a couple of questions that I'd already sort of twigged. But one question he did give me was, do you have a favourite wunderkind of the previous games?
Oh, goodness, right. So quite recently, and again, like it was mentioned earlier about teams using the database to scout and what have you. There's a really, really on the current game. There's a really, really good winger. Now not currently playing with wingers. That's a little bit deep. We won't talk about that. But there's a guy called Amara Diouf. I think he's about 17 when the game starts. Like outstanding, like class, really, really good. And again, not a real thing. He's a real player, but so much so that you'd think, I'm sure other teams are looking at him in real life. There's the Esposito brothers, There's three brothers who all play, three Italian lads, Sebastian, Francesco Pio, and Salvatore Esposito all play different positions within a team. So that's quite fun. Zidane's sons all play and are all on the game. So that's quite fun. None of them as good as Zidane. One of them's a goalkeeper. That's quite fun as well.
Did he headbutt people though? That's the thing.
You can't always see it because I don't always play with the graphics on. I sometimes play with it like top down as if I'm looking at a Sabutio thing.
I was going to ask you that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see you not really caring about the graphics and just looking at the dots.
You like sensible soccer when you just saw the heads hitting the ball. Yeah,
it's exactly like sensible soccer how I play it. Don't get me wrong, I like the replays in real life with the like different. You can see what's happening, but it also makes the game a little bit faster, and you can enjoy the bits that you enjoy doing it that way. There's loads. I mean, it's taken because of obviously of things like this, because of social media and what have you.
For anyone not watching, he just lifted up a phone.
Oh, so sorry.
PL Dotson. Yeah,
that guy. Because of things like social media and like Football Manager's massive on Instagram and what have you, your own kind of finding of a wonder kid, because of it's all kind of online, it's all through Sai. They can track the players that are most bought and then can kind of go, right, this is the most bought player in this game, or this is the most bought team. So your thing of finding a wonder kid isn't your own anymore. It wasn't. It's not. It's like behind a door. Oh, have you seen this player? It's now. It's for everybody because most people are buying them.
Again, that is a sense of community, even though it might not be appear at first glance. That is the community coming together and choosing that. So that's fascinating. Yeah, so we'll start sort of drawing things to a close now. One final question I've got, and then I'm going to give you a little game. What is the longest period of time have you actually played the game for? So in one playthrough, how many years have you played a season for?
On one of my saves, which I've still got on 24, is 9 years. Now I've never gone further than that, just because of obviously the time taken and what have you. And there's around that time, I was still a little bit like, well, there's a lot of the players who I know who were kind of going out of it. Now I actually quite enjoy that because your regens or your new gens, as they're now called, of players of like just have been generated within the game. That's quite fun as well because that's.
I was going to ask that. Do you create new players as other ones retire still and make a new name up? And
so it's all done by Sai. It's all done by Sports Interactive.
Right, okay.
A player retires or a crop of players retire, and then all of a sudden there's some like 15 and 16-year-old players from Azerbaijan and Iran and places like that where you're like, oh, they look very good. Now, it never says, they're not like it doesn't tag, this is the former player of Gav and Ste Zidane before. It's not that, but what you then can kind of look for is those attributes and go, oh, they look like they could be really, really good. So that, in a lot of ways, Steve, that is a answer to one of your questions earlier, is that my favourite wonder kids on there, your younger players who you can sign, are some of the ones that the game makes itself.
Any Dalglish.
Can we sing as good as John Barnes? That's the question.
Hey, I just made a football joke. Just give me this.
Well done.
You did.
Growing.
Yeah, no, I've eaten a big lunch. Right. So let's bring things to a close now with a little game for funsies. So what I'm going to do, PL Dotson, is I'm going to give you 6 or 7 games. These are retro games. And I want you to tell me if they're a football manager style of game or if they are a arcade sort of game.
Okay.
So the first one, Kenny Dalglish's Soccer Manager.
I'd probably have a go at a normal football manager style game.
Correct. Kevin Keegan's Player Manager.
Arcade style. Probably on the SNES or something like that.
Incorrect. That was a football manager style game.
Go on, Kev.
Graham Taylor's soccer manager.
Are they all right? Can we just part this for a second? Are they all going to have the word manager in them?
Probably, no, Ste.
Okay. Graham
That's got to be
Taylor's
arcade, hasn't it?
Graham Taylor's soccer manager. Okay. Let's move it along. Arcade based.
Incorrect.
Come on now.
Got the word manager in it. Gary Lineker's Superstar Soccer.
That's an arcade one.
Yeah.
That is an arcade one. Brian Clough's Football Fortunes.
Brian Clough's Football Fortunes. I'd probably go like a Football Manager based one.
Correct. And finally, Zico Soccer.
Come again?
Zico, Zico Soccer.
Former Brazil great, Zico Soccer.
Love him.
Arcade. I'll go.
Incorrect. That is also a Football Manager game.
Wow.
So, pretty even split there. You got half of them right, so congratulations on that.
I've been so focused on my Football Manager. I'm within my Football Manager tunnel. I've not even got up to smell the flowers of other games.
Well, you need to get out of that tunnel, onto the pitch, and various other generic football statements. Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. That brings us to the end of today's podcast, or tonight, depending on when you're listening to it. Where can we find you on the social medias?
On the social medias, predominantly only now on Instagram. I've come away from the former Twitter, now X, as the cesspool of iniquity that it is. So yeah, just on Dotson PL on Facebook. In real life, you can find me at most shows being an absolute horrible villain.
True dastard. Right. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us. And if you are in the pro wrestling space and want to talk about your passions outside of wrestling, please feel free to message us at Talk the Line. Other than that, have a good evening.
Still looking
good
for
day.
a brony. We've still not got a brony.
This is the first I'm hearing of this, but we apparently want a brony. So on that bombshell, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.